Okay, so someone had mentioned that, there's a legendary that increases arcane barrage damage when you use arcane missiles. When I first saw it, I wrote it off because I didn't think it'd be practical from a 1v1 like PvP kiting perspective. But if you have time to be stationary and casting, then this is what you can do. You can use arcane missiles to build 100 stacks, and then for each stack, it increases the damage of your next arcane barrage by 2% per stack, so up to 200% damage. So if I do that with what I was doing before, and these numbers did get nerfed since I did this last, let's see what happens. So let's see what that damage was. So almost 10k DPS, I did 84k total damage. I think before when I did this, I did 88k damage. So they did do like a lot of kind of base damage nerf to a bunch of abilities for Arcane Mage. And I want to get out of the way of this because these people are kind of loud. But let's see what the damage was here. Okay, so the Arcane Barrage that I did, because of that legendary, this is a normal hit, guys. Remember before I did this, it was a 20k crit. But here's a 27k normal hit. It's not a crit. Arcane Barrage hit for 27k. I mean, that is insane. And Arcane Blast 3, the average damage was 6.5k. The total damage was 19.7k. The max was 7.3k. See, that seems a bit more reasonable, right? Because when I did it before, I think it was critting for like 17k, 18k. And those may be normal hits. None of those crit, right? So the normal hits were maybe like 9 to 10k or something like that. So that seems that portion of it has been nerfed. The Touch of the Magi, how much did that blow up for? 12k. That's a normal hit. That's not even a crit. Nothing crit here. So that damage is still insane. But, building up these stacks is not going to be easy to do in a PvP environment. I mean, people aren't just going to let you sit there and cast arcane missiles at them the entire time, trying to build up to that. In a BG environment, you might be able to get away with it, right? If you're kind of like hanging back and you're letting other people fight and you're just kind of, sitting back there doing this. You build around, it looks like 5 per channel. So next one should be, all right, 23, but now I have clear casting, so that's going to give me a few extra from the talent choice. All right, so at 131 you get 8. So normally you get 5, but it can go up to 8 if you have clear casting. So it's going to take a long time to build that up. I mean, that is going to take a very, very long time, but if you're the type of person that just likes to kind of sit in a BG and you do nothing but arcane missiles, try to get this up to 100 stacks. Then you go over, grab your Berserker buff and your saltwater potion. I just don't know why when they make these things can't they like think through what the consequence of that's going to be. I mean, yeah, is it a pain in the ass to build those stacks up to 100? Yes, it sure enough is. But will people do it and one-shot people? Yes, they will. Okay, let's see. So this should not pop for as much because I'm not going to have the intelligence potion. And this is breaking. There's a bug. So I have this right now in a cast sequence, but there is a bug where this won't work half the time. It's like I have to. I'll show you what I'm doing. I mean, since I'm just testing it, I'm making a macro to do this. I mean, obviously, you wouldn't really want to do this in a PvP environment. You want to be more flexible with it. But, or you would have a macro to do this, but then you'd have the abilities also bound somewhere else so you can use it in a different way. That's another strategy if you have enough keybinds. Right here, right, so this is the macro. Right here, Radiant Spark does not always work. So there, you saw it. I didn't change the macro in between when it did work, and now I'm hitting the same button and it's not working. And Radiant Spark is up. It's right here. I was doing some tests to see, trying to figure out why is this not working. It has something to do with the different versions of the spell. You like get the free spell that you get in Ouroboros, when you're testing them out. You get the version of the spell as you're leveling through a zone. And they have different spell IDs, I think. And for some reason, when you are doing this, it's not picking up the right spell ID. That's what I think is going on, but I'm not 100% sure. So I'll do this, and I'll check to see. And also, this is, I think, important for Blizzard to see. I'll report it as a bug, because this could be affecting other things as well with these types of abilities in macros. Because if you look at Radiant Spark, whoops, it's going to be here. It's right here, up here. Right, so I want it here, and it puts it in as Radiant Spark Kyrian. So sometimes this works, but sometimes it doesn't work with the Kyrian, but it does work without the parentheses Kyrian. So it's very inconsistent. It'll work one time and not work the other time. So I have to let things. No, I guess this is kind of good because the potion will reset. I'm not sure this is going to work this time. We'll see. Are all my cooldowns back up? I think they are. So it took a while to do. Berserking might not be up, but that's not really that important. 22 seconds. I mean, it's really not even necessary to do this. So, okay, I got my stacks. I think everything's ready. Let me give it a shot. Clear this in case I need to do that. Okay. So touch. Let's see if it do. So go see it works now. That's so inconsistent. So there's something bugged there. Something very broken. I think it was like 26k that time. So the damage that time was a little bit less, like 76.6k overall damage. And Arcane Barrage this time, again, no crit, but a normal hit for right around 27k damage again. Maybe that amount of damage would be okay, like at the end of the first season, or maybe into the second season. I don't know what the hell pulls are going to hit at the end of the first season, but obviously, that is very broken for the beginning of the expansion anyway. I'm not sure how that damage is going to scale, with stats as they go up relative to health pools. Arcane Blast this time was 19k. Again, nothing's critting here, so imagine if this stuff was critting. So if Arcane Barrage crit, I mean, that's a normal hit for 27k. Maybe I should do this until it crits, just to see, And Touch the Magi, again, 12k, so that's pretty consistent there. Okay, I'll wait again and check again. I'll do this until I get a crit on this, and just to see. Okay, I think we might have done it, boys. I think we might have got that crit. Let's see here. 111k total damage. It was well over 8.1k DPS, but it dropped since I've been in combat, and it's just been sitting there. let's get this open before I lose it. Arcane Barrage. Crit. Yes. 54k. Which would have been anticipated, times 2 damage on PvE, but I wanted to see it. I wanted to see it. 54k from a single spell on a crit. That seems pretty good. Oh, lordy. Then, of course, since that was inside the Touch of the Magi window, Touch of the Magi blew up for 21k. That was a normal hit, so maybe, that would have been nice if that had crit too. My crit is only 11%, with the reduced stats from the gear. The Arcane Blast, only 19.4k damage total. That's so bad. I have not looked at all the classes and the specs yet, but there's been nothing that's even come close to this type of damage output with offensive CDs. Not even close. Not even in the same ballpark. 54k from a single button press. Well, after you buff the crap of it. But it's one press, it's one spell that's been boosted. That's a problem.